Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Welcome to Everything in Bloom on the 8th, brackets, the world's shortest video. I've always said I'm going to get a month where there's hardly anything, and I think this is the one. Very short on the ground this time. We have to start indoors. I'm not taking the plants out into the grow room. So we start off with our two store-bought Phalaenopsis. This one that I am confident is Amsterdam. And quite honestly, given that these were just a couple of spikes sticking out a sea of Phalaenopsis, I'm actually very pleased with this one. Very attractive blooms, beautiful colouring in the lip. So I'm pleased with that one. All the blooms are open on the spike, and the spike's looking good. How long they'll last I don't know, but being a mass-produced type hybrid Phalaenopsis, I suspect some considerable time. And then the other store-bought Phalaenopsis we got was the pretty confident it's Magic Art, but still not 100%. I'm still a bit iffy on it. The main reason is just the patterning on the ends of the two petals. The Magic Art has a distinct white V, which mine just doesn't have. I mean, on that bloom there's virtually no white on the ends of the two petals. And also the coloration in the lip doesn't look quite right. So I'm not confident that's what it's called, but you know, it's a mass-produced hybrid. Trying to get a positive ID can be awkward. So that's those two. And this one, that God, fragrance on this is just so powerful. And it's doing its thing right now under my nose. Beautiful blooms, and this is Katrin Zoch Mieke, I think. Pretty sure. I'll be doing pop-ups for the names anyway. I can double check them in my notes then. They're delicate little Oncidium type blooms, but given one of its parents is Sotoanum, it has that trait. It has that sort of look about it, or similar. It also has, that's where I'm sure it gets its fragrance from as well. So that's the three inside ones. And then if we move out here, not a lot. My Phalaenopsis type Dendrobium, the blooms are starting to go. It's dropped a couple. These got damaged a bit when I had the aphids earlier in the year, but they're still lasting incredibly well. This has been out an incredibly long time, but the blooms are starting to go, so the spikes won't be on that much longer. And that's Thai Angel, that one's called. It's done well, you know. It didn't bloom a huge amount of time ago, so coming back into bloom well within the year, well inside that, so quite pleased to even see these. So that's that one. We've got a little bonus over here, if I can get at it. I've got a Disa out in bloom. Now that's unusual for this time of year, especially for this one, but it did it last year as well. It did put out an odd spike at the very end of the year last year. That's Disa cuensis, that one's called. Very attractive little Disa. At least two more buds, maybe three to come. So it'll be a nice little spike for this time of year. I don't see any signs of any of the other plants actually pushing a spike at the moment. The little plantlets on Disas that they grow around the base, the smaller ones, quite honestly, those should be taken off and potted up separately, ready for next year, with the possibility of blooming next year or the year after. But at the moment I don't want to disturb that pot full because I've got a bloom on the go, so they might end up having to stay in there and blow it. We shall see. I haven't made the decision yet. So that's that side done. Coming round here, we have the Miltonia xcastanae. Again, it's lasting well. It has dropped a couple of blooms. I think there's just one bud left to open on this spike here, but it did well. I mean, it pushed out two spikes from one pseudo bulb and another one on up the other end of the plant, so three spikes at the same time, which is a good show. And it's an unusual colour combination, I must admit. We've got a sort of, what did we decide it was called? Burnished gold or something like that. But it's a difficult colour to describe, combined with purple. There's an unusual colour combination there. And then coming around here, the black hair type Dendrobium is still got its blooms. I don't think they're going to be with us too much longer. Starting to show that papery look as they start to fade. This is infundibulum crossed with lowii. A good spike with 3 blooms on. I was pleased with that, and they've been out absolutely ages, so certainly can't complain. I love that deep colour in the lip. That's that one. And then coming round, we've got our old favourite Dendrobium Hibiki, that's still looking good, quite honestly. It has dropped 1 spike. The whole lot fell off. Now that could have been that it got knocked, but I don't think so. I think they're just aging. It's been open a very, very long time. So yeah, good looking blooms, attractive colour combination, a little unusual putting orange with a, I don't know what you call that, magenta-y pink I suppose, but it works. It works on that one anyway. And then coming around here we've got our another Dendrobium. This is Kuniko, is it? Yes, it is. This is a Victoria Regina cross, and you can certainly see the shape in the blooms. And it's not blue, it's purple, but it has got that air about it that was heading towards blue once upon a time, and just managed to hold back from being a true blue. Nonetheless, beautiful colours, lovely veining on the blooms, very attractive. And then we've got this little one down here, which was a surprise. It's bloomed on its previous new growth that didn't even mature its bulb properly. And it's one of those that, had it not been growing this strong new growth, I wouldn't have let it bloom, because the plant would have been classed as a little weak. But it's going to be interesting to see what this does. If you look at this bulb here, the bulb is tucked down inside the leaves, yeah, and doesn't hardly show. And the last new growth did exactly the same thing again. It'll be interesting to see if it does it on this one, which is a much stronger growth than either of the previous two. If you look at the really old bulbs round the back, they just look perfectly normal, but those previous two on this one don't. Anyway, as far as the blooms are concerned on this one, they're very attractive. Each one's different. If you look at this one at the front, there's not a single red spot on it. And then if you come back to this one, it's got 1 red spot on the lip. And then if you come to this one's got 1 spot and 1 tiny spot on the top sepal. But it's also got another red one behind the lip there. And then this one over here, this one's got a couple of spots in a similar place. So each bloom's slightly different, and the red spotting is very thin on the ground. I think the actual pop-up picture I've got of this one had quite a few more red spots on it, but nonetheless very attractive. And then we've got a Tolumnia out, and I'm going to play silly games now if I can. Oh, that's the wind. If I can get my phone to do it, which will be fun. Oh, hang on, that's it's got thumbprint ID on it, and I was using the wrong thumb. That's better, so that it can't be nicked basically. So this is going to be left-handed, and it might not work. I'm going to get the camera up, because this camera can get in incredibly close. And then what I'm going to do is use the phone camera to get in as close as I can. Trouble is I can't hold it still. And then film the phone. I wonder if that works any better than just filming the bloom. Oh, I don't know. just to see if it works basically, because this poor little Tolumnia here is a bit in the dark. Hasn't got a lot of light here, and it's a very dark colour, It's a very deep, rich red with yellow markings. And that bloom is actually upside down. What's this other one right now? Oh, that's better. That's the right way up. Still haven't got much light though to get in really close. It would have to be a tripod job, which no, not today. Got things to do. Okay, and that. Oh well, no, we forgot the Phalaenopsis lurking down here in the dark or in the depths. I always forget these two. Got this little Phalaenopsis here that actually has got a name, which will go in the pop-up. But I've only just recently found that name out. Somebody else found it for me, and it looks pretty good. The name rings true. So we've got that little one, little mounted one, coming on, and then we've got this one over here, which with its very obscure wrong blooms. Blooms have been out absolutely ages. The plant is in a mess. It doesn't know whether to grow a new growth or a plant or whatever. Got some bad markings on the oldest leaf. So it's not growing right. But what I will do with this one is I'll put the pop-up of what these blooms looked like last time round, and you'll see just how wrong they are this time. They've lost their coloration, lost their patterning, just not quite right. And quite honestly, it would probably do that plant the world of good to take that spike off and then put its efforts into whatever it wants to do, which hopefully would be get some new leaves going that are full size, get some strength back into it. Anyway, that's the two forgotten ones. That's because they're low down. They'll have to come a bit higher up soon, because this is the cooler area down here. Not much cooler, quite honestly. So that's it. That is everything in bloom this time round. As I say, we got stuff coming, but that's not what this video is about. But I'm going to add one little thing on the end. While I was shuffling the plants round, I came across this, and it's on an unnamed plant. Well, it was an unnamed plant, and a process of elimination. You remember we had the Peter Comp saga where all the plants got muddled up? Well, temporarily I've put that tag in that plant, because looking at the spike, the tag I took out said Shari Baby. Well, it definitely isn't that, not with the spike looking like that. There's no way Shari Baby blooms are going to be that big. So this could be the Peter Comp, but I always said there are quite a lot of plants around with no tags, all looking similar and in a similar stage of growth, and they're not going to get identified properly until they bloom. Yeah? And this may be the Peter Comp, in which case it's not even for me, it's for somebody else. But I'm not sending it until I'm absolutely confident. We were waiting for roots. We've got the roots now, and we now have a spike, and once those blooms open and it's formally identified as Peter Comp, perhaps we can package it up and get it sent off before it starts getting too flipping cold. I had one of my viewers contacted me after a while from Latvia. They've had their first snow at the beginning of October, so their winter's come really early this year. Anyway, excuse me. So that's everything in bloom plus a bit on the end. I'm allowed, it's my video. And I'll see you next time. I was going to do some more rearranging of plants and get the other light up today, but other things took over this morning, and I'll mention it again. I've put a couple of new items on the merchandise store. You might want to go and have a look. And I mean, quite honestly, it'll probably be worth if you're interested in getting any of the merchandise, like if you haven't got any yet and you'd like to have a look, the items there will increase. So some people might think it prudent to wait, because what's there is going to stay there. I'm not taking anything down. Once it's up there, it stays there. But I will be adding to it. So, you know, the things that are available, and you know, it will change, and it will get bigger and better as time goes on. but they do take a little while to put together, especially the one that I've put up this morning. Boy, did that take an age. And I mean an age. That probably took me about 2.5 hours of fiddling and faffing. But it's done now, and it was a request, so it's there if anybody's interested. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.